Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review television series and movies. And if you like what you see, please make sure that you are hitting that like button and subscribe. Here are my two channels that you can subscribe to. Um, Subscribe. I don't know where my hair is going. So we have reached the season finale of Cross. Now, I have talked to you all in depth about the Duolingo murder twins. And this is the season finale. Now, I will tell you overall for this particular season, there was some things missing in regards from what first season. And so one of the things that I think that was missing is us seeing how Cross does his process, where he's sitting around and he's thinking. He does it in this episode, but he doesn't do it as much. And also in this episode I was PO'd because then they were allowing Craig to have that kind of process, and she shouldn't have had that kind of process. And that kind of pissed me off because I thought that was special to Cross, so I didn't like that. I like the storyline, but I will say that it felt like they were going to go deeper and they didn't. I don't know why it felt like there were at least a couple of episodes that were removed and or rearranged, because you remember when I told you that the main plot seemed so predictable, but it was the side quests that I was enjoying, and those kind of wrapped up kind of crazy for me as well. But it just seems like, because last season to me they pushed the envelope, it seems like this season someone told them to pull back, because I know that this is such a touchy subject, particularly with the political climate that we're in. However, I just feel like there was something else, and we didn't get it. It just feels that way. It feels like there was more. Feels like there was, in particular between Cross and L, it seems like there was more that was there that they took out. It also seems like with the main plot, it seems like it got darker, but they took that out. It just feels that way to me because it started off, real dark, and then it just kind of lightened up. So overall, I enjoyed this season, but I just felt like there was something that they weren't giving us. That's the way I felt. Good news, Cross has been renewed for season 3, so we're getting a season 3. Let's hope we could get about 4 seasons out of this. I think that would work well. But let's go over this episode. Now, this episode starts off where the last episode ended. We have the Duolingo twin, Rebecca, aka Luz. That's her real name. Luz is her real name. She is on a quest to get to the last 2 people. So, it was the security guard, Nat, and it was Lance Durand. She was on a quest to try to get that person, get those 2 people. So you have Cross, and I'm not going to go step by step. I'm just going to go overall. So overall, there, at the end of the last episode, the lobbyist was pruned from the timeline, and Cross and Craig didn't believe that Luz was the one that pruned him from the timeline. They believed Durand or somebody else pruned him from the timeline, but they definitely didn't believe that she was the one that pruned him from the timeline. So they're protecting. So you got the FBI and the Metropolitan Police in Ohio trying to protect Durand and Nat from Luz, in regards to, because he's trying to get this prosperity seed that he wants put out. And apparently he has worked out, he wants it to go globally. So he wants the government to fund it, and they want to use places in Africa so that they can do this, put this prosperity seed out, which always amazes me, because if you've got all this kind of stuff, why don't you own land in the United States where you can grow this stuff? It's always something. But anyway, that's not my business. I'm just asking the questions. So they're getting ready. He's getting ready to present it and everything like that. So everyone is sitting down at the table ready to eat. And Nat starts breaking out in hives and stuff like that. And then come to find out she's allergic to bell pepper. And they were like, no, we made sure that you didn't get any bell pepper, but somebody must have messed up. She ends up going to the urgent care. She goes to the urgent care, the nearest urgent care. Baby, Nat get to breaking out, and the next thing you know, Luz comes in, and they get to fighting and tussling and everything like that. But Luz ended up getting the better of her and pruning her from the timeline. So now Lance is quaking. He don't know what to do because they don't know where he's at. It's a whole bunch. But anyway, it ends up that duolingo twin Rebecca, aka Luz, gets to Lance, and she brings him to the cornfield. And it's something special about that cornfield. And I didn't realize it till the end. It was something special about why she wanted to bury him in that cornfield. And Cross ends up figuring out where she's at. They get to the cornfield, and she's there with Duran. Nat is Nat is already in the grave because she's been pruned from the timeline. And Cross tries to tell Luz, hey, stop it. We got him. You don't have to do this anymore. So she ends up pulling the lever on the machinery that drops the dirt, and it drops the dirt on Nat and Lance, and then she runs out into the cornfield and she gets away. They end up rescuing Lance and everything like that. But here's the kicker. They realize that they have information on the aunt, because we find out through a recording, and that was what was on the recording, that she sold her sister out for $50,000. I don't know if she realized that they were going to prune her sister from the timeline, but she sold her sister out. And that's the reason why the aunt, because you remember I told you the aunt was kind of suspect, but that is the reason why, because she sold her sister out for $50,000, and then those people pruned her sister from the timeline. And so she's pissed off because she didn't think all that was going to happen. She wanted the money, but she didn't think that all that was going to happen. So Cross, True John, and Craig come up with an idea. Hey, we can take that recording and we could use it against, they were like, oh, we could use it against the aunt. They were like, no, we can use it and give it to Rebecca, Luz, and she will then lead us to, well, they had the aunt in custody. So we will do that, and they can possibly meet, and we can get them both. So they come up with this brilliant plan at the Canadian border. I guess they set that up. The aunt was going to I guess she must have told Rebecca that she was going to go to Canada. She gets to Canada, and the aunt doesn't realize that Rebecca has heard the tape. And Rebecca tells her that she heard the tape. And they go back and forth. And Liz was like, you made me into this soldier. You're the one who created me. You did all of this. I had to kill innocent people because you sold you sold your sister out. You sold my mother out. They go back and forth. The aunt tells Rebecca to run. Rebecca doesn't run. She pulls a gun out of her purse, and she goes shooting at the police, and then they prune the aunt from the timeline. I think Rebecca I don't know how Cross got the jump drive with all the information on it, but he has it. And Liz is like, I'm tired. Everybody is gone. You promised me that you're going to get him and you're going to make him pay. And he gives her a word, and then, she jumps from the doggone falls up in Canada. So she's pruned from the timeline. So now we get back to Washington, D.C. It's about a week later. A couple of things are going on. True John meets with uh, Nana Mama, and they go back and forth about her not telling him the truth about anything. So Nana Mama works out that she can go in and see LaDonna, and they go in there, and I guess they're going back and forth with each other. And Nana Mama tells her, you the lowest thing of the lowest thing. You the lowest of the low. LaDonna says, you always thought you was better than me. Nana Mama said, I knew I was better than you. They go back and forth. Old women drama. But it ends up that what she gets from LaDonna is because she said, yeah, I'm better than you. Nana Mama tells LaDonna, yes, I'm better than you because you chose a man over your child. Who does that? You know that you didn't kill nobody. Basically, you know that you didn't prove nobody from the timeline. You know he did it, but you rather go to jail than to spend time with your kids because he wouldn't do the same for you. You know he wouldn't. But anyway, that pretty much concludes that. And Nana Mama gives True John the name of his father and the telephone number and the address, and she tells him that he wants to talk to her. So for me, I think that side quest episode ended in the best way that it could end. That at least John has some hope. He can talk to, he knows his mother is child, there is no redeeming his mom. We know better than that. Because she'll choose a man over her children and then possibly her grandchildren. So you know that she's a lost cause. She's still got that ride or die mentality, and she about to ride or die and rot right up in that jail, in that prison. But that's the most that we could get from that particular side quest. That's fine. The other side quest in regards to Bad Religion, I believe Bobby Trey cleared that up in episode 7. So I believe he cleared that up in episode 7. So the two side quests, again, I feel like this season, it seems like there should have been 10 episodes, and it looked like they took those two extra episodes, and clipped it and flipped it into where we were at now. Because it seems like, because now that I think about it, you know how it begins? It seems like that episode was like split. Like it should have been the pruning of the timeline where they pruned all those people. We shouldn't have seen them do it. I don't know. It just feels, this season feels like everything was kind of pushed together to me. Everything was just, it seems like I said earlier in this broadcast, it seems like this season was supposed to be darker than what it was. And it looked like at the last minute, they just started editing it a different way. So to round up the story, Cross has the information. Cross has the information given to him by Lewis. He tells Craig. Well, Craig tells her higher ups. When they go into the meeting, Cross and the Craig is supervisor, and then the deputy over the FBI. When they go into the meeting, they just want him to give them the information, and Cross realizes that all of them are being paid by Duran. He has them in the pocket, and if he gives them that information, everything is going to disappear. So he doesn't give the information. He escapes from the FBI, and then they're talking about he's a person of interest, and they're doing car chases and all kinds of stuff going on. Inevitably, he gets the neighborhood to help him out, which they do. But he inevitably gets the information to the senator, and the FBI go at him, and they catch him. They catch Cross. They put him in jail. They make a big announcement that he's in jail. And I think they I think the FBI believe everything is good. Duran believes everything is good. And I didn't realize it was the senator who was also sponsoring Duran's bill. But honey, it was a nice little twist and turn. The senator decides that he's gonna give the information. He talks about how everyone knows that a lot of stuff that they wear here in the United States, and particularly if it's imported, it's because of child labor. We understand and we know that we don't like it, but we look the other way because we want our garments. But he also talked about that was happening in the United States of America, and he said that Durand and Crestwood Industries were using child labor, and that on his farm that there is a burial ground of children who were pruned from the timeline because of accidents and things like that that happened on the line, where they were working in his in his factories, and he had all the evidence that he needed. They arrested Duran and he goes down. So at the end of the episode, we see that Alex has his moral compass is bothering him. Excuse me. this whole this whole situation has him realizing that there are just too many people who work for the government for the United States of America, and even locally or whatever. It's just too many people that are working and turning a blind eye, and that's not the system that he thinks it should be. He doesn't think that this is how the system should work. And so he resigns his post, he turns in his gun, he turns in his badge, and he leaves the Metropolitan Police. Now, and that's how the season ends. And again, it felt like something was missing. That just seemed everything just seemed too clean. It wasn't messy. We don't know what happened to Bobby Trey. We don't know. It just seems like there's just y'all. It just feels like there's a couple of episodes missing, and that's what's bothering me. It just feels like there's so much more information if this is supposed to be the season finale, and I am just not into that. Let me make sure. But what do you all think about this season? Um, there's only 8 episodes. It just feels like it was supposed to be more, child. That's the way it feels. But that's it in a nutshell. That was the season finale. There was no big whoop whoop, nothing. Cross did meet with Elle, and Elle kind of told her off a little bit, but nothing major. There was just no. It didn't feel how we left when we left season one. After we left that, it was just like, wow, what's next? He's got this. He's tied everything together. They didn't give us really Cross. I think that they were so busy trying to flesh out the other characters, which to me made no sense. Like I said, I like the side quest with Craig, but to center her like she is Cross, to center her, all of that makes no sense to me. It just made no sense to me. And if I'm telling the truth, it kind of put us off of Cross, because it's like, come on, all people, they should have always been the two people that should have always been wanting each other, but just wouldn't cross that line. And for them to have crossed the line like they had, it did make it fell flat to me. I'm sorry, it did. I did like True John and him finding out who his folks are and his family is. I did like that, and I'm hoping for the next season that we will get more information in regards to that. Now, what Cross is going to do, I don't know. I don't know. Is he going to set up a company and do services for people and then investigate as a private eye? I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, what did y'all think about the second season of Cross? Was it something that you enjoyed? Let me know down in the comments. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.